That's the restaurant that Sacha and Adrien opened almost 2 years ago, a year and a half. So I am Nathalie Claire-Virovac. I am the program director at Vatel USA for the LA and San Diego campuses. And Sacha and Adrien are alumni, are graduates. You graduated in 2020? When? So can you tell us a little bit more about you and introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I'll start. So my name is Sacha. I'm from Toulouse, south of France, the city of the terroir and the good food, of course. I came here in August 2019 to finish my MBA at Vatel San Diego, Alliance University. That's where I met Adrien. Yeah, I'm 25. I'm going to turn 26 in July. When we opened this restaurant, I was 23, so like 24, yeah, 23, 24, and that's pretty much it.
My name is Adrien. I'm from France as well, from Normandy. As Sacha said, I studied as well in Bordeaux, but we didn't know each other at the time. I came at the same time as Sacha did in the US in August 2019 to do my MBA right after my bachelor, which is nice because the US program offers these 15 months of studies before doing the OPT if you are right after a bachelor. And when we opened this restaurant in December 2020, it was right in the middle of my OPT, so I was 22 at the time. And now I'm just about to turn 24, and we've never been happier than now.
All right, alors mesdames, I'm gonna have a bisou. Here we go, and I'm gonna have this one over here. Careful, this one is burning.
So are we gonna set it up on fire?
It's on fire already. Put your hand. Careful.
Oh yeah. So Sacha,
Yes.
you studied your master degree in Vatel USA at San Diego. I was wondering if there was specific things in your education that was crucial on your decision to open this restaurant and how you manage this restaurant.
True, absolutely. So I think the whole formation I received from Vatel and from Savignac a long time ago really helped me to open this restaurant. First of all, that's where I met Adrien, who convinced me to open this restaurant. So, like, thanks to Vatel, first of all. And then, of course, because of the quality of the courses, of the teachers, of the students also, which is very important. So, thanks to this whole education I received from Vatel San Diego and Vatel Bordeaux, we were able to open this restaurant and to manage it as good, as good as we are managing it today, which is, I think, good. I would say that Vatel USA really helped me in terms of knowing how to manage teams here. So thanks to the American management, which is very different from the French management or any other kind of management. The way how to approach people, how to talk to them, how to train them, how to approach the law as well. That's really helped me, and with all the case studies we did through the whole year when we were studying at Vatel San Diego, we were able to study real cases that were happening in the US, and we are able now to put in practice what we've learned on paper, but now in reality. Still on paper, but on our own business, which is very different because you need to be much more careful. You're not going to receive a grade, you're going to receive your business to be open or not. So the challenge is different, but it's very, very, very interesting, a great experience, and here we are today.
pretty big step to take, becoming an entrepreneur and opening a restaurant like that. So what made you confident to go for this big leap?
Actually, I think it's all about opportunities at first. So, as you know, I was supposed to work at the Peninsula in Los Angeles as an assistant director of rooms, but then COVID happened, so they rescinded their offer, and at the time I was back in France and kind of stuck over there. So I finally got a way to come back to the US, and so I called Sacha and I told him that I needed a job. And at this time he was working at Creme Crepe in Huntington Beach, and so that's where I started to work as well, thanks to him. And basically it was just like a job, just like that, you know, waiting for a better opportunity. But at the end of the day, the franchisor, Bruno, who's a French guy as well, just told us that he liked the work we were doing and the customer service we were providing to the customers. So he told us about this location here in Huntington Beach that was for sale as a franchise. And so that's where I knew I wanted to do that, because I guess I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, even if it was young. I was young, I'm still young, but I was like, it didn't seem impossible to do because it was still like a small restaurant, something that we're familiar with Vatel. We did like 5 years of studies over there, so we kind of know the industry now. And so we visited it, we negotiated it, and the hardest part, I think, was just to convince Sacha, that has a pretty comfortable position at the time at Adrien. But actually, I think he's going to tell you his story, but he's pretty happy he made the move, because his location closed after a couple months we moved here. So that's mostly about it, opportunity, and just not be afraid to work too much, because as you can guess, we had to work like 7 days a week to serve customer, but also to deal with all the paperwork and like get a lawyer to get our visa and like creating our own LLC. So all that was a pretty fun process, but I think it definitely helped us to grow like personally and professionally, obviously.
So in your education at Vatel San Diego, do you feel that you were very like trained to become a manager and have a specific education that really trained you to think out of the box and to think as a manager, really with American management style?
Yeah, I really think so. I really think so in a way that students, I'm not familiar with a bachelor degree, but at least for the MBA, are treated differently, if I can say, from when I was a student in my MBA in France, which means that professors and teachers are teaching you that you are already professional and that you already have some knowledge in the hospitality industry. I think in France it's not like that, at least when I was back my 2 years in Bordeaux. I was finishing my bachelor in my first year of MBA, and teaching was amazing as well, of course with Vatel, but the way how you are approached as a student here, it's much more interesting than the way how they approach you in France. Here you are someone with qualifications, you are someone with skills, with knowledge, regardless your ethnicity, your age, anything. In France, it's very different. In France, you are 25, 23 years old, you will never be able to open a restaurant except if you have a lot of money and if you have some relations. Here, they give you the opportunity, they teach you how it works, and they believe in you. In France, and that's what we had from all of our family members and friends, and everybody kind of that we knew in France, they were all like, oh, okay, no, don't do that, it's too much risk, especially in COVID, you will never succeed and stuff. Even though we did it, and today we are here, and I absolutely do not regret my choice and my decision, and we are even thinking of opening some more businesses and continuing these amazing ways that we took to be not employees but employers, and to manage our own little baby, if I can say.
So, Adrien, you did this MBA with concentration in hospitality management with Vatel USA at Adrien.
Correct.
I was wondering how your education for American management did impact you in managing this restaurant today in the USA.
Well, it definitely helped because if I had to do it before having all my study at Alliant, I wouldn't manage it this way for sure. First in France, I think it wouldn't be even possible to get a restaurant at like 22 and 24 years old. People think you're too young and you don't have enough experience and everything. And in the US, it's really this culture of as long as you're a hard worker and you want it and you're motivated, you can have basically whatever you want. And then money, you'll get a way to find some money. So with this in mind, in your everyday management, you can feel it as well, because basically when we're hiring some people, for example, we're not gonna ask the same question as in the luxury hospitality, for example, like why you over another, what's your whole experience, why do you think you could fit this job? It's basically, hi, what's your experience, how many years in the restaurant industry, and are you ready to work weekends? Like, are you motivated, basically? And if they say yes, we're like, okay, perfect. Then you just come on a Thursday, you show up for a couple hours, I show you how the POS work, I see how you serve the customer, and we'll start from here. And we don't have any like background checks and stuff, so it has pros and cons. But at the end of the day, it's just the way we like to manage it here, because we're young as well, so we cannot like come and be arrogant and be like, I know more than you, because like we had some waiters that are 20 years older than us and who taught us a lot about something that we'd never thought about. And so it's basically exchanging and learning from each other. So it's basically more, I think if we had to sum it up, in America and the way we manage our restaurant, it's like working with people. And I feel like in France, you're working for people. And so you can definitely see this like hierarchy, and it's very strict, and you have your boss and you have like superior, manager, director. While here, at least for a restaurant, it's like just being like good vibes and like seeing how people work. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And we just have to tell them, hey, it's not a good fit for their company. But on a daily basis, it's just taking the flow and see how it goes and be nice to people at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's easier and more flexible to hire and fire people also here.
True. That's another thing we had to get used to, because we were the one being hired before or fired, and now we have to do that. So we learned a couple things the hard way, and we had to deal with a lot of lawyers and accountants and immigration lawyer, like a lot of professionals that we've never dealt with before. But yeah, you have to be very, very careful about the laws in the US, I think in France as well, but especially in California, you have a lot of restriction and you cannot do whatever you want. So you have to be cautious in the way you're hiring people, but eventually you'll find a way.
Sacha and Adrien, you applied for an e-visa, right?
Yes.
So investor visa. So what is it, and how do you apply? What do you need to qualify for e-visa?
So e-visa, it's an investor visa. So the one we applied for, it's an investor visa. So I think you have two kind of visas. You have investor management and just like investor. So we have the investor one where we invested some money to be able to open a business and run it on our own. So we don't work for anyone else. We work for our own LLC, our own company. And this is called like the investor visa. To qualify to this visa, there is a lot of requirements. Adrien will be able to tell you a bit more about the main things that we need.
So the first thing I would advise would be to get a lawyer, because that's the only way you can go through that. Because even our lawyer told us that obviously it's based on the money you're investing, but when we asked him, hey, we plan to invest that amount of money, will that be enough? Will we be approved? And he just told us, guys, I cannot tell you anything. I've got some visa approved for 40,000. I've got some denied for 150,000. So the money you're gonna invest is obviously an important factor to get approved, but it's not everything. Again, the lawyer you're gonna have will tell you more, but the main things, as far as I remember, as a solid business plan. You have to be very specific on what you're gonna do. They're gonna ask you a lot of questions: how many seats you have in a restaurant, how many employees you intend to have, if they're gonna be American, if they're gonna be French. Every single detail is gonna put you further or closer to getting approved, so you have to be very careful, and that's why the only way to get it is a lawyer, because there's no chance you can be aware of everything. But yeah, mostly it's like employing people, how many, where they're coming from, the money you're investing, the plan, the business plan you're having. So it's better if you're in the business for a few months because you have more data and proofs to give them, like the bank statements, like some I-9 for the employees or everything. It's doable without the business being open, but it's a little bit harder. So there's so many variables that it's hard to sum it up, but as you can see, it's not impossible. So you should definitely give it a try if you're really motivated and that you want it. Just take a good lawyer, be ready to put a lot of energy into it, some money, and then you should be all good to go.